This is the best Disney World dining experience that you've never heard of.
Hey there, man fam. We're coming at you with a brand new episode of our bucket list series. This time, it's Savor the Savanna.
Savor the Savanna is a 2-hour part private safari, part private dinner out on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve here in Disney's Animal Kingdom. I am so excited. I've done some of the other add-on experiences here in Animal Kingdom, like Wild Africa Trek, and they've been wonderful, and I've wanted to do this ever since I heard about it, so let's go. Savor the Savanna is an add-on experience here at my favorite part, Disney's Animal Kingdom. It is $174 per person, so it's definitely not a cheap add-on experience. But I'm excited to see what you get for the price and if this is a good date night or if you've been here a lot of times or special occasion celebration. Now, I should note that you have to be at least 8 years old to go on the experience, and that if you are under 18, so between 8 and 17, you do need an adult to accompany you. Also, I read on Disney's website that guests are able to use standard wheelchairs, but ECVs are not allowed.
You check in for the event outside of Kilimanjaro Safaris. They do recommend that you arrive 15 minutes prior to departure, and there are no late arrivals. So be on time, be timely.
In addition to this being an experience that a lot of people don't know about, it's also one of the most exclusive places to eat in Walt Disney World. The area we're going to be eating on the safari is only accessible by guests doing this experience or Wild Africa Trek, so it's pretty neat. Also, if you've considered Wild Africa Trek before but not done it, I did it on a different one of these bucket list videos. It was amazing. Highly recommend. We just checked in at the kiosk right across from Kilimanjaro Safaris, got our name tags, signed safety waivers, learned a little bit more about the experience coming up, including the fact that we're gonna get to actually talk to an animal keeper here. So she let us know to start thinking of good questions, which I'm definitely gonna do. They're gonna mostly be hyena related.
She also let us know that the first restroom break wouldn't be until 45 minutes into the tour, so we're gonna run to the restroom real quick.
BRB.
Bye.
Fun bathroom fact, you may have noticed that at Disney's Animal Kingdom, as opposed to the other parks, all the bathrooms actually have doors. A lot of them just have entryways you can walk in. That's because, and may I preface this by saying this has literally never ever happened and probably never will, if an animal were to escape, it's a safe space that guests can go with cast members because they can actually shut the door and protect you. Again, it's never happened, it probably never will, but it is one of the safety features, and now you'll never look at the bathrooms the same.
All right, so we are getting ready to meet our guide, and given the intimate nature of this tour, we're actually gonna use a little bit of a mix of recording as we go forward.
We're gonna do some live recording and some voiceover after as a courtesy to our fellow guests trying to do this nice, expensive experience as well. Also, one of the guides is named Rachel, who might have been my guide that I had for Wild Africa Trek. She was awesome, so I'm super excited. When we said intimate experience, we mean it. There's literally only 9 guests doing this right now, and we're headed with Dominic, who also was one of my Wild Africa Trek cast members, to Rafiki's Planet Watch, the train station, to get a private safari vehicle to head out on the reserve. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Keep your seats the entire time that we're on this truck, alrighty? Now, like I said, the truck right behind me, it's a lot bigger, right? That being said, they can't go down certain pathways that we can go down to because, well, they're just simply too big. Since we're gonna be in those pathways alone, it's just us, we can stop. If we are stopped, keep your seats still. Unless I tell you it's okay.
One of the first things we learned about was the AZA, the Association for Zoos and Aquariums, and how they have less than 250 approved facilities, and of course Disney is one of them.
The amount of care that we give our animals, the amount of education we give our guests, the amount of conservation work that we also do when it comes to protecting these wild animals, those wild places, and the local people that live there, supporting them to do that conservation as well. So it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. We do that conservation through the Disney Conservation Fund, and actually one of the animals that we do support is actually one of those animals right over there, the okapis. So, being a part of the ACA.
What other animals do you guys have for the breeding program?
For the breeding, we have a lot.
Yeah.
We have a lot. So our okapis, our hippos, our, just naming the ones on the safaris so far. I'm trying to think what else. Giraffes, we have a lot. Tigers. No, not komodos anymore. Tarantulas, we are breeding tarantulas as well. We have a lot. Yeah, so we do a lot. A lot of birds. Oh, we do a lot of birds. There's actually some birds that we're breeding that you'll never see. They're called Guam rails and Guam kingfishers. we have them in our avian research center. Now we're breeding them because they are extinct on the island of Guam. So the reason why that you're not going to see them is because we didn't want them to become too used to seeing people, right? So just a few individuals, their keepers, are going to be the ones that will go ahead and take care of them, so that when they actually release them back into the island of Guam, they don't seek out humans in order to get that food. So our vets have actually been able to do stuff like that. Have actually been able to go to Guam. I think they went about 2.5, 3 years ago at this point, to actually help reintroduce some of those birds back into the island of Guam, which is pretty cool.
One of my favorite things we learned about was actually how they kept the animals out in guest view, and that's through using enrichment items that are placed and hidden throughout the savanna for each of the animals. And this can range from food to treats to also toys.
Grass is not the most nutritional thing in the world, so we actually do have to supplement the nutrition every now and then. So we'll give them those mineral blocks, those salt blocks. If you look at the back of, I believe this one, yes, this one right over here, there is like a dish, so as you round the corner.
Probably the coolest part of the savannah, though, was when we were able to stop our truck literally in the middle of a tower of giraffes and watch them eat. We got to take tons of videos and photos of the giraffes, and then we met keeper Rory, who takes care of them.
We're the USDA and AZA, if you guys talked about AZA. So our barns have a specific amount of space that each animal needs to have, and 14 is our limit. So 14 is a lot of giraffe to even go into a barn. We actually have 3 generations of giraffe out here. And I don't see all 3 generations, but the one who's kind of walking away from us right now, that's Kenya. She's a grandmother. She's a mother of 2 out here. And actually that's one of her sons right there. And this giraffe actually stands up on his back legs. And I've talked to a bunch of other people who work with giraffe, and no one's ever seen it in a zoo setting before. All of our trees are wrapped to about 20 feet, so they can't eat the bark, so that we're able to provide them with shade out here. When you're a little kid and you dream about having a zoo job, usually doing dishes and picking up poop aren't what you think of it. That's literally 75% of your job. Unless you're what I am today, it's called show truck. And at Disney, cast make show for you guys, right? The guests. Here I'm making show for my giraffe, and so for you guys to be able to see him. So like I said earlier, that's Kenya way over there. Willow is the one that's second from us. And then Twigga, which do you guys know what Twigga means? Giraffe. So his name is Giraffe the Giraffe. No, he was named by a family that donated some money to the Santa Barbara Zoo, which where he was born. And you guys have any idea why he came to Disney?
To make baby giraffes.
So all that oil is staining his skin. People thought for a while that it was just like, oh, he's such a cute giraffe, he's got like a beard. No, it's oil. So it's not bad for him. If there was something bad out here, we would like say, no, you can't have that. We'd cut all the ponds down. He's just really, really into it. So we're gonna let him do it. Because there's not that many giraffe in the United States. It's like 275 Maasai giraffe in the United States. It's not that many. Giraffe haven't been brought into the population since the 80s. You don't want to remove animals from the wild unless they need to be. Moving a giraffe from Africa to the United States, pretty difficult. You have to charter, a giraffe has to fly in a plane that flies really, really low because of their blood pressure and pressurization. It's not gonna happen. So it's really important that we're really conscious about who's breeding who. But that being said, how many giraffe do you think are left in the wild? So for like a milestone or like a place to start off, there's about 250,000 African elephants left in Africa. How many giraffe do you think are left? 50,000. So I like when you're wrong, but there's more. So there's anywhere between 70 and 110,000 giraffe. We actually don't even know how many are left. A lot of countries where giraffe thrive are coming out of decades-long civil wars, and we're just finding new populations. Females rule the roost in hyena culture, so that even if a female hyena, which if she gives birth to a female hyena, that female hyena at a day old already ranks higher than any male in the clan.
It's like Barbie Land over there.
There you go. That barn is kind of like Barbie Land. Hyena are really interesting. Very difficult to keep them like a natural setting. You can't have a clan. We have to be really careful about how deep like piping and irrigation, and even when we design like our new pool that's in there, to make things hyena proof is like 10 times more than gorilla proof. Hyena they chew bones, right? They break bones. Their jaw strength is so crazy. They're very cool animals.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this giraffe is standing right there. See where that fallen log is? He was born right there. His mom gave birth to him right there. So we don't like our giraffe giving birth, not in the barn. Because the day after, we have a neonate exam. And that means we have to draw blood, they get vaccines. We need to know if they got the colostrum, so they're happy. We have to sex them, so we can tell the SSP, hey, we got a new boy giraffe, we got a new female giraffe. So we sent mom out, Mara, who's somewhere around. She's the smartest giraffe we have, and she's always causing problems. But we said, we don't think she's gonna give birth. It was her first time. We were midway through this project, and we got a call from one of the drivers to our head of the animal programs for that part of the day and said, we think she's giving birth. So we actually shut the ride down. This ride does not get shut down for anything other than when animals need it to be. What we found out was that Mara got a little weirded out, almost. There were no trucks. We were all out here. She was like, what's going on? We actually have auditory cues, so it's a sound that we make to call all of our animals back to their barns. Some go in overnight, some just go in for a couple hours. The giraffe have a whistle. So we did the whistle. Everybody went in except for Mara. Mara's mom, Kenya, came back out and was like, we need to go back to the barn. But nope. And then Mara actually was fine. We let the trucks continue, and she gave birth in front of a ride vehicle, which has like 60 people in it.
Thank you, Rory.
Oh, there's Mara. There she is. I'm literally away from everybody else. She's chaos.
After that, it was time to eat, and our safari truck pulled up on the private boma in the middle of the reserve. We learned that boma means a protected gathering place where people can get together and share experiences, like dining.
I'll show you what the chefs have in store for you tonight, and then I would invite you to come on back down. We have 2 restrooms. They are labeled men and women. They are the exact same thing on the inside as a sink and a toilet. So please, everybody, follow me. My friends, I know somebody had But we have a lot of food. We also have a lot of delicious beverages tonight. Now, I want to kind of do a wine pairing, so that way you get a feeling of maybe what you would enjoy with X food item. So we actually have 2 whites and 2 reds tonight in terms of wine. Our first one is a Bucatrab. Now, we have all South African wines. So South African wines are not known for their sweetness. However, the sweetest one, quote unquote, is going to be our Cedarburg Bucatrab. That goes really, really well with really light, bright things like our tandoori shrimp, super flavorful. Also, our pineapple with tahini seasoning. Don't worry, nothing out here is spicy for you tonight, but tahini is like a flavor amplifier. So if you love pineapple, this is pineapple times like 1,000. So good. We have our Cannon Cop dry pinotage rosé for you tonight. Now, do not think rosé and think sweet. Think actually a little on the dry side, hence the name. But it's going to go beautifully with things like our Midnight Moon goat cheese. We're going to be really surprising you with food tonight. Normally with goat cheese, you think of like a creamy consistency, right? This one is actually a solid, like hard white cheese, kind of like cheddar. It's also going to go really well with a lot of the fruit that's out here. Stuff like the grapes and the strawberries, the watermelon, even the flowers are edible. Please feel free to enjoy them or put them in your hair. Have a little Rapunzel moment, whatever you would like. We also have our Cannon Cup Cadet Cake Blend. It's going to be the lighter of our 2 reds. It's going to go really well with things like our fig cakes here. Does anyone love a good Fig Newton? Yes, no, maybe. This is like Fig Newton adult style, adult edition. It's kind of more grown up, more mature. Moving down the line, last but not least, we have our Cedarburg Merlot Shiraz, which is going to be the fullest bodied wine and the driest that's out here for sure. Usually with reds, you think of going for more like darker items. So we have some dried meats for you here. We have some prosciutto, dried pork, and bresaola, which is dried beef. However, I want to point out some of my other favorites, like this garlic and leek hummus that partners beautifully with this fluffy pita, this really crispy, delicious torta bread that's kind of sweet. Try it. It'll surprise you with how good it is. Also, my last favorite is the yellow curry chicken salad. Again, not spicy at all. Really, really flavorful and a little on the sweet side. But in terms of our beers tonight. We have two. We have the #1 beer in Nigeria, which is the Star Lager. It's actually brewed with the same type of wheat that would be used with cereal. So it's a little different tasting. And then we have our Old Elephant Foot IPA, which is brewed in the very far off land of Tampa, only an hour away. But they do a lot of cool conservation efforts with a lot of local Florida wildlife, whether it's water birds to manatees to sea turtles, things like that.
Once Rachel, who was my guide on Wild Africa Trek, by the way, finished explaining everything, it was time to enjoy. And let me tell you, the views are stunning. One of the best places I've ever been in Disney World. We got to see the flamingos, the giraffes, the elephants were still out, and even a wildebeest and greater kudu snuck up to enjoy the vibes. But let's talk about the food. Similar to Wild Africa Trek, the chefs at Tiffin's and Tusker House make this food and you can't get it anywhere else.
And I had never done Wild Africa Trek, so I really didn't know what to expect going into this, but I can tell you that the food was superb. I really, really love that curry chicken salad.
It's definitely more of a tapas finger food type situation, so even though the meal is expensive, you're not getting a huge multi-course meal, but honestly, I preferred that. I loved trying all the different cheeses, I liked making different combinations with the fruits and spreads. Everything is fresh. Plus, Rachel was kind enough to pour me a little bit of each of the 4 wines so I could do a little pairing like she suggested, and it was delicious.
And I gotta say, I really enjoyed the Star beer. It was light, bright, and very refreshing, and I could taste that unique wheat just like she said I would.
Delicious passion fruit cake. It's essentially sponge cake soaked in some passion fruit with some cream cheese frosting and a little white chocolate flamingo wing on top. Also, if you're familiar with the gray stuff from Be Our Guest, the crunchy little spheres, the little balls that are on top of the gray stuff, it's the same kind of thing. They're just golden here. The center side pieces are going to be some fudge brownie cake pops. Emphasis on the fudge. They are very, very, very rich. Now they have a zebra and giraffe pattern, but they taste the same. And then last but certainly not least, you already saw it with this one, but our last items are our deconstructed s'mores. Now they are 3 layers. The very bottom is a graham cracker crust, chocolate ganache center, and then a toasted marshmallow meringue, which has gotten a little bit away from itself, is on the very top.
We grabbed one of each of the desserts to split, and I started with the s'mores in a jar. It was my favorite one because it was classic s'mores flavors presented very uniquely.
And I started off with the passion fruit cake. I gotta be honest, I thought this was gonna be super sweet and was pleasantly surprised when it wasn't. It wasn't my favorite dish, but I enjoyed it.
And last, the chocolate cake pop, which was incredibly rich and dense and thick, my least favorite of the 3. Overall, I much preferred the savory course to sweet, but it was a nice way to end the meal. Okay, we're going down another walkway here. No food, but we can bring our wine. This is literally my dream. I just ate a bunch of cheese. I got a really good glass of wine. We got binoculars, and we're on the safari. This is quite literally the greatest thing in Disney World. Rise of the Resistance, never heard of her.
Kendi, right over there, is actually the mother to Kiama and Lola. So Logan is going to be Kendi's grandmother, or granddaughter. Kendi is actually the first rhino calf ever born here at Animal Kingdom.
In total, we spent about an hour at the Boma Overlook before we hopped back on our truck and finished our private safari.
So white rhinos, they're eating grass. So in order to eat that grass, they have to lower their heads. They have a big muscle right on their back in order to lift up their very heavy skull in order for them to actually be able to look around. That muscle does not allow them to roll around. So they can only really roll halfway, and they go back, and they roll the other half, and they go back, and then they have just that hump just exposed. It is what it is. They can only do so much, but that's why they can't roll around too much, because they have that big giant muscle right on their back. Our common ostriches, when they lay their eggs, we will actually go ahead and collect it, and we can give it to our carnivores. Carnivores will hard boil it first. These eggs are about yay big. They basically are as much as like a dozen chicken eggs. So how long do you think it takes to hard boil?
A couple hours.
Yeah, I think 3 hours.
3 hours?
It takes 3 hours to hard boil an ostrich egg. So, but then at that point, we can actually give it to our carnivores. They can play around with it. If it breaks, that's fine. If they eat it, that's fine. It's all protein. Now, we don't give it to them all the time because it's 2,000 calories in one egg.
Jeez.
For us, that is our recommended daily, depending on who you are, recommended daily amount of calories you're supposed to take in a day. So we give it to them maybe once a month. Maybe. Half here. 3 of them are still here. 1 of them is at another facility helping out the breeding program. The other 2 are in Uganda, where they were reintroduced back into that country where they've been extinct. 2 of them were sent over there from us. For a grand total of 6 from the other facilities as well. In their time there, they've had 30. Now there's 30 rhinos over there. They've had some babies as well. And if you know this about bamboo, but it's a very sustainable product. Bamboo is a grass, not a tree, and it can actually, one species can actually grow a foot a day. So it's super, super sustainable. So I always say to those people, let this be your starter. Find different kind of bamboo products out there, like maybe bamboo utensils like you had in your tin. That's a bamboo spoon, so find bamboo utensils, or like bamboo cutting boards, floorboards, but with our growing technology, toilet paper, t-shirts, bed sheets. Apparently, bamboo bed sheets are super comfortable. They're super soft. So try them out. You never know. But I'll go ahead and give one to every person.
That was so fun.
That's the type of edutainment that I want when I go to these parks, especially a park like Animal Kingdom. This
is my favorite park, and as an avid lover of Kilimanjaro safaris and this park and animals and nature in general, it was such a cool experience to get the private safari with our guide, Dominic. He was fantastic. He shared a lot of really awesome conservation information behind the scenes of the safari, like how they care for the animals and how Disney makes the magic that is the safari. We got to talk to Rory, who's one of the animal keepers for the giraffes, and learn from him.
We found out there was a crocopalooza going on, which is when all the crocodiles are being taken care of and having their veterinary appointments. They have it like twice a year.
And okay, I really can't pick a favorite part.
Yeah, but what was your favorite? But what was it though?
I couldn't go a whole 2 hours, but if I had to pick, it's like literally my dream. My dream meal is charcuterie. Mm-hmm. So to have an African-inspired charcuterie, with South African wines, sitting in safaris where you can see elephants and greater kudu and giraffes and flamingos, it
was just incredible. I think for me, again, being on the Boma, which is the safe space, or could be translated as food, which is where we sat for our meal on the savannah, it's hard to beat that, honestly. Seeing the elephants, though, that was up there along with our rhino friend that we got to see.
Now, I will say, if you're considering booking Savor the Savanna, you have to be an animal fan. You have to be a safaris fan. The draw of having a private safari needs to be very strong, which it was, and it's awesome. I think this is awesome if you've been multiple times, you're looking for a new experience, if you're looking for like a date night or a special occasion experience, if you're going to enjoy trying the cuisine and the wine, he was great.
And because we did learn so much about conservation, we went to one of the merchandise locations and picked up these. So when you buy anything at a merch shop in Animal Kingdom, you can make a donation to Disney's Conservation Fund, and Disney will match that donation. So we donated $50, which equates to a $100 donation going to their fund.
And pro tip, you can do that at Starbucks too.
Ooh.
You can get coffee and save the animals.
Look, we have a lion.
We decided to get these follow bracelets, which are not Disney owned or manufactured, but they did sell them in the gift shop. I already have some shark ones. This one's a giraffe one. What'd you get?
I got a lion.
And these bracelets donate to different projects to conserve whatever animal is on your bracelet. And once you open up the information on the back, you can actually learn about an animal. You're basically like adopting a specific animal that you can track with your bracelet. So let's see who we got.
Yeah.
It says, tear to meet your animal.
Well, I'm going to remove this first so I don't tear it in many pieces.
By the way, they had polar bears, they had sharks, which I already have 2 of. They had other animals too. There's my bracelet with my giraffe.
Here's mine with my lion.
And I am benefiting the Somali Giraffe Project. And I gotta scan a QR code to meet my giraffe.
And I am benefiting, contributing to the Iwaso Alliance.
My giraffe is named Balon, and his latest known location, it looks like he is in Kenya.
Okay. Okay. So my lion's name is, hold on, we gotta zoom in. She's been very active, all over Kenya as well. Her name is Quenya.
It says that Bilan was a de-snaring success story. So she was caught in traps and then she was rescued. And now she is, and her name means firstborn. So she was the firstborn giraffe in her family. And now she is living her best life in Kenya.
Oh, I don't have the most updated photo. Quenya is a he. His photo earlier did not have his mane. So my apologies, Quenya. Oh my gosh, the cumulative distance traveled is 2,662 kilometers.
He is moving.
He is distance since his last strike location was almost 10 miles. He was collared in the Samburu National Reserve. Wow. He keeps company with Langyopa, which is a boisterous duo of male lions. Wow. They often make off with camels and cows.
So cool. Okay, these bracelets are awesome. You can buy them in the stores, Awadi Traders, right outside of Kilimanjaro Safaris. And again, they have other animals too. I hope they make a hyena one at some point, but these are really cool. And these themselves make donations to these conservation efforts. And then plus you can make the Disney one and get the butt. So
gotta get the butt.
Any dollar amount and you can get a butt. Well, once again, Animal Kingdom Tours and the team proved to be fantastic. I loved this. Big thank you to Dominic, our guide, Rachel, who helped out on the boa, and Brittany, our driver, for making this experience incredible.
Absolutely. And what should we do next? What should we cross off the bucket list next time? And in the meantime, folks, be sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new, follow us on all of our socials, and if you want to join us in the conversation, join us on Discord. The links are all down below.
And until next time, friends, I'm Molly.
And I'm Alan.
And it has been wild.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wild.
Go watch the Wild Africa Trek video now. We'll see you next time. Bye.